Let's see if I can recount this debacle this morning. So I was in the kitchen. It's a nice Monday morning, and I'm getting my coffee ready. I'm sitting there. I'm writing a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm doing my thing. I'm enjoying life as it is, and then somebody calls my mom in her bedroom, and it's not time for her to wake up. She usually wakes up around 12:30 in the morning, like 12:30 in the afternoon, I guess. It's 12 noon? Yeah. 12:30 in the afternoon. And she's talking to them, blah blah blah. So she then comes out, and then she's talking to my caseworker at Rutgers. My caseworker is because I go there for therapy and I go there for my medication and, you know, all that stuff. So she gives me the phone, and then the guy's asking me questions. I forgot exactly what questions he was asking, but he was asking some questions. And I was answering, oh, he was telling us about Medicare Part B. So he was like, you had Medicare Part A, outpatient or inpatient, for since like 2024, but you had outpatient since 2025, somewhere in 2025. So you are qualified for it. You have it. So all you need to do is get the card. So I was like, all right, I don't know how to get the card. I haven't gotten the card. Everybody keeps asking me about this card, and I keep telling everybody I never got this card in the mail. So then I then asked, I was like, okay, he tells me about the private insurance and Medicare. He was like, use your private insurance first, and then Medicare's will be the secondary. And I was like, all right, cool. So then I asked another question. I was like, so what if I had Medicaid? And then he was like, okay, you got kicked off Medicaid because you now have permanent disability. But all you need to do is reapply for it and see if you get it. That's up to them. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, I'll reapply. Because everybody's been telling me to reapply, but I haven't done it yet. You know what I mean? Like, my mom's asking me, my sister's asking me. You know, the first time that became a concern was earlier this week. My sister was trying to schedule transportation for my doctor's appointment. And they told her that they canceled my Medicaid. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then everybody is telling me like they're trying to figure out what's wrong, and I'm like, yo, I can figure out what's wrong. And Mona's like, no, we got to talk to the higher ups. You can't figure it out yourself. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Right? I was already pissed off, you know what I mean? Because I'm sick and tired of people telling me that I'm not capable of doing stuff. Like, it's annoying. You know what I mean? Like, for you to be constantly told you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're going to start kicking. You know what I mean? Like, people back you into a corner when they do that to you, and they don't realize that, or they just don't care that they are doing that to you. So I was pissed off. I was like, all right, whatever. So then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, well, if I'm not going to check, let's see what they're going to get. And I allowed them to do it. And then I was thinking to myself again, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to figure it out my damn self, because I don't know what you mean by higher ups. And why are you talking to my caseworker for this? So, like, this is something that you're supposed to figure out yourself. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to figure this out. And I called Medicaid, and Medicaid told me, they were like, all right, so the reason why you don't have Medicaid is because you got disability, and disability requires a different form for you to fill out. So once you fill out that different form, we'll know if you get Medicaid or not, if you still get it or not. So I only make like $900 a month. So Medicaid, I'm supposed to be qualified for Medicaid because I only make so much money. Medicaid is for poor people. That's how we explain it. I know that is not financially unstable people. You know what I mean? But I'm supposed to get it. You know what I mean? Because I only make but so much money, and just in case anything does happen, like I need that level of care to help me out. So I called them up, and yeah, they said that they were like, "Look, listen, you just need to refill out the form because you got disability, and everybody knows it happens to everybody. It's not just a one-time thing. It cuts your Medicaid off, and you have to fill out another form." So I'm like, I text everybody. I'm like, "Hey, look, listen, I figured out what was wrong." And they were like, "Yeah, what was wrong?" I was like, "I just have to fill out another form." And she was like, "All right, cool. Where's this form at?" Belinda's like, "Where's this form at?" And I'm like, "The form is online." And then, like, the next couple of days, she keeps asking me, she's like, "Where's the form at?" I'm like, "The form is online. I can do it online." And she's like, "Okay, okay." So I'm assuming, I feel like I have the right to assume that you're telling me to fill out a freaking form. You know what I mean? That's what everybody's telling me. And my mom is sitting there talking to me. She's like, "Did you fill out the form yet?" I'm like, "No, I didn't fill out the form yet. I'm going to." She's like, "Make sure you fill out the form." And I'm like, "All right." So this is going on for about, like, let me double check my WhatsApp. Since when did this start going on? So this started going on about Friday. So today is Monday. So all weekend they're telling me to fill out this form. And I'm sitting there like, "All right, yeah, I'm going to fill out this form. I'm going to fill out this form." And then today, when I got off the phone with the guy, Belinda was like, "No, don't fill out the form. You can't get all three. You can't get all four things, all four assistances from the government, or else they're gonna kick you out. They're gonna mess you up." And I'm just sitting there like, "But you were telling me all weekend to fill out this form. What do you mean no?" And she starts getting all loud and angry. And I was just like, "Well, what are you getting angry for? Like, I don't understand." At first, I'm not going to lie. I was like, "I'm just going to fill it out anyway because I don't understand what you're talking about, because you were just telling me to fill it out and now you're telling me not to. I don't get why. What's the switch up? You're not explaining anything." And she was like, "Oh, because you have all four assistances from the government. And because you have private insurance, you have Medicare, you have disability," I think she said. And then me and my mom, we're both confused. We're like, "What do you mean don't fill it out?" But it's completely different. And she's like, I told you not to fill it out. This is why I do everything, because you guys don't know what you're doing." And I was just sitting there. I was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you getting loud? What are you so pissed off about?" You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't understand, because you've been telling me all weekend, everybody has been telling me to fill out this form. And me just being like, "All right, I'm going to take my time." I'm just taking my time, right? I'm just literally taking my time, just chilling, just like relaxing and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what I do a lot of the time, like, for me, everything is just like, everybody just calm down. Like, we're going to get this done, and everybody just needs to chill. Like, that's the type of person that I am, because, like, I don't understand this whole, we gotta do this. We gotta do this now. We gotta do this now. I don't understand that, because every time that happens, it's usually a scam. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't fill it out, and I've just been waiting. And I was just getting so angry at Belinda, because I was like, "Why are you yelling at us? Why are you talking to us like we're retarded?" And she does this with my mother. She gets angry at her and she starts yelling at her. And then my mom is just like flabbergasted. She's just like, "You know what? I don't know why she starts yelling at me. I don't get this. She always does this and it's annoying." And May does that to me. So I got aggravated. It was just one of those times where you're just like, why are you yelling? And like, I don't understand why you're yelling at me and why you're calling me dumb. Like, stop calling me dumb. I'm not dumb. Like, it's so annoying. But May does that. And then just her doing it just made me blow up. You know what I mean? But I didn't really blow up. I was just like, yo, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling at us? Like, why are you talking to us like we're retarded? Like, we're not dumb. And she's like, you know what? This is why I do everything. And I was just sitting there like, if you feel like you're doing everything, then stop doing everything because it's annoying, especially when you just start blowing up randomly. If you take on all this responsibility, you must be good at this stuff, right? And if you don't want to take on the responsibility, how about you just stop? We don't need you. We're going to figure it out on our own. If something happens down the line, then something happens. Oh, well, we'll deal with it when it comes to that point. But right now, everybody is just like, just needs to calm down. No, just one person needs to calm down. No, but like, really, I think, why did I get angry? I feel like I got angry because it was definitely because of May. It's just like, I'm just annoyed of being yelled at. Like, it's just so fucking annoying, guys. Like, you don't understand. Like, it's tiring when people are like, you're retarded, you're retarded, you're retarded. Especially since, because of my disease. And my disease requires me to get outside help. You know what I mean? And Belinda did help out a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like, she did help out a lot. She gave me an ultimatum. She made life really hard. But ultimately, I needed that help to get back on the medication that I needed desperately to get back on. But for you to throw that back in my face and be like, this is why I do everything. It's just like, I could have been on the street. I did not need you at that point in time where I was just like out of my mind. I did not need your help. You know what I mean? I could be fine on the street. I could be one of those hobos on the street. That's perfectly fine for me. Like, I would have been in the right mindset. I would have been like, yo, we're going to do this street thing, bro, because this life thing is not happening. So I give her a lot of credit for helping me out. But just like May said the other day, it's like the way that you're using it now is just messed up. It's just like, who do you think you are? Why do you think you deserve to say these types of things, to be like, I'm the only one that, because it's like, it's not even just me. You know what I mean? It's not like it's only me that she does this to. She does this to my mom too. So I get pissed off because, it was, you helped out a lot, but guess what? Guess whose house that I had to go back to in order to stay out of the hospital? It was my mother's house. Like, you don't have a house. You're in school, and you're constantly going back to school to do the same thing over and over again just to get more money, and you're leaving all your responsibilities behind just to focus on school. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, you help a lot, but you got to realize that other people help just as much. But yeah, that was the ultimatum. Should we talk about the ultimatum? So I was in the hospital, right, for the last time, and I was hearing voices like really bad. Not really bad, actually. So they brought me in, and I wasn't taking my medication. I was spitting it out every single time that they were giving it to me. I was hiding it, and I was just trying to go it alone. You know what I mean? Like, I was completely full in psychosis. And sitting there, I go to the hospital, and I'm sitting in the hospital. And you know what? That's exactly what I want to say too. Like, yes, you help out a lot, but you got to realize that we do a lot as well. You know what I mean? Like, listen to this. So I'm in holding, and holding is where they decide where to put you. Either they ship you out to another hospital, or they keep you in the hospital. Basically, they ask you a question: do you want to be voluntary or involuntary? And then they decide on what to do based on that. So that does piss me off because a lot of people don't know the difference, and you're in a mental state where you don't know that you need help, and you're just fighting everyone. So I'm usually just fighting everyone. So the first thing I said, I was like, I don't think I need to go to the hospital. That's basically what you say to these people. You're like, I don't think I need to go. And they're like, no, you need to go. And you're just like, no, I don't think I need to go. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm voluntary or involuntary. I'm just saying I don't think I need to go. And then they turn around. They're like, all right, involuntary. And involuntary means that you have to meet with a judge every 2 weeks. So at this point, that's just a doctor that's looking out for themselves. It's not like they're really helping you. They're just looking out for themselves. And it's very annoying. You know what I mean? Like, these people are very selfish at times, very extremely selfish. Like, when you deal with people, you don't realize how selfish they are until you're in the dirt. You know what I mean? Until you're face down in the dirt, and then you start to realize how they are. And so I was like, I don't feel like I need to go. And they're like, all right, whatever. So they keep me overnight. It takes like a few days. Sometimes it takes like 5 days for them to get you a spot at a different hospital for involuntary patients. Because like I said, for involuntary, you have to meet with a judge every 2 weeks. So I'm waiting to go there, and I'm going through the night, and I did some bad stuff while I was in psychosis. Like, I was putting on my Instagram feed on TV, and my Instagram feed is just straight up girls. And I was just getting annoyed of everybody coming into my room. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start making this uncomfortable with like you are starting to make it uncomfortable for me, because every night they would come in and bring me my pill, and I was just getting annoyed. I was just like, I'm so tired of this. Like, you guys are freaking annoying me. Like, why are you giving me my medication? Just give me the bottle of medication so I could take it myself. But I wasn't going to take it. Just like when they were giving it to me by hand, I wasn't taking it. So I'm in my room, and I'm putting on like Instagram feeds of these girls, and it's just a half naked girl just like dancing. And my sister Belinda comes into the room and gives me my medication, and she starts getting pissed off, and she like rips out the TV, and you know what I mean? Like, it was a whole thing. I didn't mean to do it. Like, I wasn't in my right mind. Like, it when that happens, it feels like somebody's telling you what to do, and you're just doing it. You know what I mean? It's very That's the best way I can explain it. It feels like somebody's telling you what to do, and you're just doing it. And it feels like it's like a force. It feels like superpowers. Like, that's the best way to explain it. It feels like your powers are going out of control. Your powers of the right mind is going out of control. You know what I mean? Like, the daily things that you do every day, like, all right, I smell bad, I should go take a shower. Those are messed up. And those are like, everything is like, it's like a circuit board, and somebody's messing with your circuits. And now, instead of hiding your porno, now you're showing your porn to everybody. You know what I mean? So they were talking about that at night. They were like, I forgot exactly what they were saying. They were like, they were talking really loud. Okay, I'll write it down to make more sense out of it, because it's really hard to explain. Like, they were saying, like, it was this lady, and she was saying like, this guy, they're calling him a pedophile, but we can't listen to what the parents are saying, because sometimes they just want to kick these kids out of the house, and they don't want to deal with them anymore. And the guy's just like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they start talking loud again. So in my mind, when people start talking loud, that's another form of my powers going out of control, because I can hear, I can start to hear people really loud. So the voices are like you're listening, you're hearing other people talk, like in their, like if you're in this house and the next house over they're talking, you can hear exactly what they're saying. So it's like your hearing goes to like level 10. You're like at 2 at all times. And all of a sudden it goes to a level 10 and you're hearing everything. Like it feels like you're a mutant, bro. So they're talking, they're talking, they're talking. And then the guy starts talking about voluntary and involuntary. He's like, you know what? If you go in involuntary, what they do is they force you, you have to talk to a judge every 2 weeks, and it's really bad for you. They take a longer time to process your files and everything. But if you go involuntary, what they do is it's a much quicker process. You don't see a judge, and it's just much faster for you. It's much better for you. So he was explaining it like that. And he wasn't talking directly to me. He was just talking to somebody, you know what I mean? But my hearing was on level 10. So I'm just sitting here like, I'm listening, I'm shivering, I'm listening. I'm just like, it feels like I'm on drugs, because once again, they tried to give me my medication, but I spit it out. You know what I mean? Like, they can't catch everything. And it really sucks that they can't catch everything. For them to not be able to check your blood and see if you're taking a medication absolutely sucks. Like, there needs to be some way to tell if the person is taking a medication or not, because that would really help out that person in the long run. But I wasn't taking the medication. I spit it out. And just that little bit of medication that got into me, it makes me shiver. It messes with my powers. Like I'm just, it's misfiring. Like my powers are misfiring whenever I start taking the medication, because the medication kind of dumbs down all of your senses. You know what I mean? So now you don't hear as much. You don't feel that that voice that's telling you what to do. You don't hear that voice anymore. You know, all these things are happening. So I'm sitting there, I'm just like, okay, voluntary, involuntary. All right, maybe I should go voluntarily. And I go up and I was like, so can I go involuntarily? I know I said invol. Can I change my answer for voluntary to involuntary? And the guy's like, yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. You can do whatever you want. Of course you can change from involuntary to voluntary. So he's like, you want to come in voluntarily? And I was just like, yeah, I want to come in voluntarily, because I was listening to them and they were telling me, they're like, listen, if you go in voluntarily, it's a much quicker process. It doesn't take 2 weeks. It could take as long as you need to take to get ready. And whenever you're ready, they let you go as soon as possible. So I'm just like, all right, cool. So I asked to go in voluntarily, and they're like, all right, yeah, we can do that for you. And they're like, we have one more bed. You can get that bed. Do you want to come involuntarily? Because it was me and this other guy, and this other guy was also saying involuntary. He was still out of his mind. That's what sucks about mental illness. It's just like, you don't know when that person is in the right mindset. Like, they could be on medication and still be in the wrong mindset. And people don't realize that. Doctors, I feel like they don't realize that. They feel like the medication is one stop all. That's why they give therapy, to try to get into your head, to try to see like what's going on. Like, what else are you thinking? Like, are you thinking bad things? What's going on in your head? Because we have to figure it out. That's why they have the psychiatrist and therapy. That is what therapy is primarily for. It's to figure out if there are other problems going on. But they don't really do anything. That's what sucks about therapy. They don't really do anything for you. All they do is listen to your problems and then yeah, that's it. All they do is listen to your problems, and they can't really do anything about it. Like the psychiatrist will is the only one that could change your medication if something is really going wrong. Then they're the ones that has the final say to everything. But this therapist can't really do anything. Like unless you're telling them you want to kill yourself, you know what I mean? Then they're like, all right, maybe the medication is not working. Maybe we should change medication, stuff like that. But after that, I got into the hospital voluntarily. They gave me a bed within like 2, 3 hours. You know what I mean? It usually, like I told you, involuntary takes 2 to 5 days for them to find you something. It is bad. So when I said voluntary, 2, 3 hours, I was already admitted in. You know what I mean? Versus 5 days. 3 hours versus 5 days, guys. You need to. I'm telling you, people that have mental disabilities, they need to hear this stuff because nobody talks about this stuff. So I go in voluntarily, and then they're assessing me, they're doing all this stuff, and I'm still spitting out the medication. I'm still spitting it out. And then I this voice is starting to tell me like, yo, bro, let's leave this place. Like they're not doing what they said they were doing. They're not letting you go as soon as they said they were going to let you go. You're taking the medication. No, you're not, but you know what I mean. You're taking the medication and they're not letting you go. So put in a petition. You can put in a petition that turns it into involuntary. So it turns your status from voluntary to involuntary, and then it gets a judge involved. And then you see the judge every 2 weeks, just like if you were to say involuntary for the first time and you get sent out to a random hospital. So you say you're voluntary, they put you into the hospital, they admit you into the local hospital, not the outpatient hospital, into a local hospital. And in that local hospital, you can, now you're voluntary. You know what I mean? You're voluntary in this local hospital. And then if you want to leave, you have to sign something that says you're involuntary. Then you make that doctor go to the judge with you every 2 weeks to get you out. Now it turns into involuntary. So I'm sitting there, I fill out the paper for involuntary, and then afterwards, this nurse, thank God, catches me like spitting out my medication. She's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm just like, nothing, nothing. So I swallow the medication, and it is the worst reaction I've ever had in my life. Like I was tossing and turning in bed. I was literally, when you say tossing and turning for the whole night, literally the whole freaking night. Like I'm sitting there tossing and turning, and then I have to go and take a shower. Like I don't feel good. Like it's the middle of the night, and I'm gonna go and take this shower. They don't, it's like it's a better version of a hospital, of a jail. So here's how it goes. There's voluntary, then involuntary, then jail, then county jail. That's the levels that it goes. You know what I mean? So voluntary, you're still in jail. You're in a makeshift kind of jail, but it's not as strict. So you can take showers whenever you want. You still have to eat at a certain time. You still have to stay there, but they let you go much sooner. So I take the medication, and I'm just tossing and turning. I go and take a shower. I freaking jerk off in the shower because I was just so jittery, and I felt like everybody was watching me. And like I got out of the shower, and I'm like, holy shit, they just saw me jerk off in the shower. And like you just see everybody just staring at me, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so effed up. I'm so effed up. This was the first time of me taking the medication for months. You know what I mean? Months I've been avoiding taking this medication. I take it for the first time, and it's the highest dose that they have for that medication. And I take it for the first time, gulp it down, all of it. And oh my gosh, it messed me up. So the night passes by, and then I wake up. I don't even wake up. I was awake the whole time. I go and I sit down at the nurse's desk. They take your blood pressure, and they take my blood pressure, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, your blood pressure is way too high. There's something wrong with you." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And they're like, "All right, talk to the doctor. As soon as the doctor gets in, you need to talk to him, and you need to." This was on a Saturday or a Sunday, so it was a stand-in doctor, because the main doctor is on Monday through Friday, and then the stand-in doctor is Saturday, Sunday. You see the doctor every single day. And the doctor was just like, "I can't do anything for you. I can't change the medication. But what I can do is split the medication. Would that help?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that would fucking help. I am zooted. Like, I can't take this." And he's like, "All right, we're gonna split the medication and see if that helps." So we split the medication, and it does help. But I am so when you're on this medication, guys, it is it's a different thing. It's like you're paralyzed. Like, really, it's like you're paralyzed. It doesn't feel good whatsoever. You can barely I can For me, I can barely move. Like, I used to write a lot, and as you can see, like, I start slowing down when I write. Like, it's the most it's the saddest thing to look at, because you look like you do look disabled at that point in time when you start first taking your medication. Like, you just look terrible. You look absolutely terrible. And I'm taking the medication, and then I'm just like, "All right, fine, I'm taking the medication now." And the doctor's like, "I heard what happened last night." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." When the doctor finally comes in on Monday, so Saturday, I was jittery and all that. Those problems were coming up, and I got caught. Then Sunday, we take the medication, split it, and then Monday the doctor comes in. She's like, "I heard what happened. You weren't taking your medication." I was just like, "Yeah, whatever." And then she's like, "Listen, your parents, your family does not want you to come home until you take this shot." And I'm just sitting there like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And they're like, they don't want you to come home until you take the shot. And if you don't want to take the shot, then we're going to have to send you to Mac's facility. And she's like, "I'm going to try to help you out. I'm going to get you on this medication, and then we'll see how long it takes you." So I'm just sitting there like, what? That's what they're saying? Like, they don't want me to come home? So I go back to my room. I think that's how it went. I might be a little bit wrong. I might change the story up a little bit later. But I don't think they were going to take me to the Max facility at that point. That was a separate time that happened. So this happened twice, where they're like, "I don't want you to come home until you start taking this medication." So the second time, so this time, the one I'm talking about, she was saying like, I'm not sure if she was saying like, "They don't want you to come home." I think she was saying like, "It's going to take longer for you to go home. I'm going to try to get you home." That's what she was saying. She's like, "I'm going to try to get you home, but they don't want you to go home. And if you take the shot, I'll let you go home sooner. It's no problem." So I go back to my room, and then I start talking to myself like hardcore. I'm just sitting there like, "Are you sure? You really want me to? Okay, but remember, you're not going to be able to come back for a very long time. Like, this is the last time. I can't help you anymore." So that's what I'm saying to myself, right? And what's going on in my head is just like, take the shot. And it's like, why? It's like, because it's going to help you. And I'm like, "You're going to go away for a very long time." And it's like, "That's fine, but we want to get you out of here as soon as possible. And it's the only way that we can help you." And I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh. So I make the decision, and I'm like, "All right, I'll take the shot." So I go in, I'm like, "Is the doctor in the house?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I go talk to the doctor. I'm like, "Listen, I'll take the shot." She's like, "You sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take the shot." After I had this conversation with myself. So then she gives me the shot, and then she's like, "All right, when do you want to leave? I can leave. I can let you leave as soon as Friday." I think it was Wednesday. And she was like, "You can leave as soon as Friday." And I was just like, "Okay, I'll leave on Friday." So that's what I was talking about when I said that. Yes, she helped out a lot, but you got to realize that other people are doing their part as well. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like I was like, yo, you're so selfish. Like the way that you said it, you're just such a dickhead about it. Like, oh, this is why I do everything. It's like, yo, bro, seriously, I have to do a lot of stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, I have to deal with a lot. I have to go through a lot. You're just calling people up and just doing that. You're not the one that's going to the hospital. You're not the one that's taking the shot. You're not the one that's going to therapy. You're not doing everything that I'm doing. I could even be more pissed off and be like, look, listen, you don't do shit. Like the shit that you do is nothing compared to what I do. I could be like that. I could be that type of dickhead. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Hold on. I'm going to pause it here. I feel like somebody's at my door. Hold on. Sorry, guys. That was Diana ruining my great little explanation. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically what happened. And I wish I recorded that. You know what I mean? I should have just left that recording because I'm really trying to do that. I'm trying to encompass a real world for everybody, not this edited world that everybody's so used to. Like, we don't come from an edited world. That's not where we come from. We come from an unedited, 24 hours, 7 days a week type of world, bro. And it's very real. It's very, very real. So like I should have kept that recording. I'm gonna try to be better with that, guys. I want you to get real life stuff from me. Like I don't want you to get the fake, like the edited and the cut here, cut there, perfect little video for you. Like I don't want that for you. I really don't. I feel like we need to start viewing these real life stuff. Like it's real life, guys. It's not this fake thing that we've started getting everybody on. It's not. But I hope you enjoyed that recording. I hope you learned a little bit from that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's real intense. It's real intense. And I'm going to keep talking about it. Hopefully, I help people get aware of what is going on. But hope you guys enjoy. Hope you listen and follow.